At 86, I remember the exact moment everything changed for me. I was standing in my kitchen, gripping the counter with trembling hands because I'd started feeling unsteady on my feet months earlier. It was such a small thing, just reaching for a glass on the top shelf, but I felt the ground beneath me sway like a rocking boat. My heart pounded. My palms got sweaty. And for the first time in my life, I wondered if I would fall and not be able to get back up. It's a haunting feeling, realizing that something as simple as standing upright can suddenly become a source of fear. So many older adults go through this struggle silently, hoping it's just a passing phase, only to find it creeping into every aspect of their life. I knew I had to do something before a minor slip turned into a major injury. If you've ever felt that same moment of dread, that split second where your feet don't feel reliable, and you're scanning the room for the nearest piece of furniture to grab, you're not alone. A staggering number of seniors silently wrestle with balance issues, and the consequences can be devastating. One poorly timed misstep could lead to broken bones, loss of independence, or months confined to a hospital bed. Worse still is the emotional toll it takes, the loss of confidence, the reluctance to leave home, the growing sense of isolation. But here's the silver lining. Balance isn't just something we're born with. It's a skill, one that can be strengthened and improved at any age. And I'm living proof that even in your 80s, it's possible to stand tall and steady once again. Today, I want to share the 5 key moves that transformed my mornings and ultimately my balance when I was well into my 80s. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll have a clear, practical set of steps you can do in just 5 minutes each morning to reclaim your sense of stability. Along the way, you'll discover why most people misunderstand the nature of balance, how the simplest daily habits can either boost or undermine your progress, and one unexpected secret that made all the difference for me, something I rarely hear anyone talking about. Trust me, the last tip alone is worth its weight in gold because it's often the missing ingredient in every balance routine out there. What I'm about to share isn't just my personal anecdote. Doctors and therapists are finally recognizing that balance training is one of the most effective investments you can make in your health, especially after 65. I've worked with countless older adults, many of whom thought they were destined for walkers or wheelchairs, only to find renewed confidence in their steps by making small but powerful changes in their morning routine. These methods may seem simple at first glance, but simplicity is often the key to consistency, and consistency is exactly what your body craves to rebuild its strength and coordination. Before we jump into the specifics, do me a favor. If you find the information valuable, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos packed with tips for happier, healthier aging. And if you enjoy what you're about to learn, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't resonate with you, type 0 so I know to improve. I genuinely value your feedback. Now let's dive in and discover how just 5 minutes each morning can make all the difference in keeping you on your feet and in control of your life. Let's begin with our first key point. And it may surprise you because it goes against what many seniors have been taught their entire lives. Most people think the solution to poor balance is simply to take it easy and avoid any challenging movements. But I'm going to show you why that's one of the biggest misconceptions out there, and how doing the exact opposite can set you on a path to better stability. Number 1, challenge your limits safely. We've all heard people say, "You're getting older, better slow down," or "Don't push yourself too hard." On the surface, that advice might sound caring, but it's also a bit misleading. When we constantly try to minimize movement, we actually weaken the very muscles and reflexes that keep us balanced. Think about your legs and core as a team of stabilizers. If that team never gets a workout, it starts to slack off. That's why some seniors feel wobbly the moment they attempt something as routine as stepping off a curb. It's not just age that causes this, it's inactivity. The most common misconception is believing that rest is the remedy for instability. Take Lucy, for instance. She was 77 when she first noticed she was swaying a bit whenever she stood for too long. Her doctor told her to sit more often and avoid straining herself. So Lucy cut down on walking, avoided going upstairs, and basically tiptoed through her days as if she were made of glass. 6 months later, her balance had deteriorated significantly. She went from occasional wobbles to needing a cane just to feel secure in her own home. She reached out to me in frustration, saying, "I've done everything they said, and I'm worse than ever." That's when the surprising truth hit her. Inactivity was the real culprit. By resting too much, she allowed her muscles to lose strength and her coordination to decline. Once Lucy began a gentle but consistent set of exercises, no more than a few minutes each morning, she quickly saw progress. After about 2 weeks, she was able to stand a bit longer without swaying. A month in, she could walk the block without her cane, and by the end of 3 months, she surprised even herself by climbing a short flight of stairs without needing to hold onto the rail. The slogan I often share with my clients is, "Motion is lotion." Movement keeps your joints lubricated, your muscles active, and your mind-body connection sharp. So here's a practical tip. Start each morning by doing a few mini challenges. For example, stand near a counter or sturdy chair for support and try lifting one foot just an inch off the ground. Count to 3, then switch legs. If you need to hold on, that's perfectly fine. The point is to train your muscles and your nervous system to handle slight imbalances. Over time, you can increase how long you hold the position or how high you lift your foot. It might seem trivial, but these tiny, deliberate moments of controlled imbalance teach your body to adapt. Imagine the freedom of not having to cling to the walls or constantly worry that your next step could be a tumble. That's the emotional benefit, renewed confidence. Instead of feeling trapped in your own home, you'll feel empowered to go for that walk, enjoy an outing, or simply move around without second-guessing every footstep. Think about that wave of relief washing over you when you realize you're more stable than you were last week. No magic pill can give you that feeling. Only gentle, consistent practice can. Now, I know some of you might be wondering if it's too late to start. It's never too late. Even if you're starting from zero activity, these small challenges can make a world of difference. Just remember Lucy's story. The key is consistency and safety, always moving in a controlled environment and supporting yourself if needed. Next, let's move to the second point, which might sound counterintuitive at first. For many of us, balance issues aren't just about muscle strength. They're also tied to our posture and the way our body aligns during daily activities. Number 2, posture is your foundation. Most people think posture is just about not slouching or standing up straight. The misconception is believing that posture is purely aesthetic, like the old advice from etiquette classes telling young ladies to balance books on their heads. But the truth is, posture affects everything from how you breathe to how your weight is distributed across your hips, knees, and ankles. It's like the foundation of a house. If it's crooked, the entire structure suffers. Take Robert, 78, who had a habit of leaning forward slightly when he walked. He'd done it for decades. No major injuries, no complaints, until his early 70s when he started feeling off balance. It got worse after a minor fall, and soon he was too anxious to walk without support. The surprising twist? His main problem wasn't weak legs. It was the forward tilt of his torso, which threw off his center of gravity. As soon as he focused on realigning his posture, his stability improved faster than he expected. Here's a simple way to start your day with better posture. Stand with your back against a wall, heels touching if you can. Gently tuck your chin. Imagine a string pulling the top of your head upward, and press your shoulder blades back so they touch the wall. Hold this position for a slow count of 5, feeling your body's alignment. Then step away from the wall, trying to keep that same posture. Even a few seconds like this every morning can reset your sense of where straight is. If you do this consistently, you'll retrain your muscles and spine to hold you upright naturally. Think of your body like a set of stacked blocks. When they're aligned well, everything stays stable. When one block is tilted, the rest have to compensate, and that's when the wobble begins. The emotional lift you get from better posture is immediate. You feel taller, more alert, and often more confident. There's something about standing up straight that says, "I am here and I am strong." Beyond the physical benefit, it's a mental boost, a reminder that you control how you carry yourself in the world. Now, if you're still watching and finding this valuable, let me know by commenting the number 2 below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend doing so now and turning on notifications. Every bit of support helps us continue creating content that aims to inspire and inform you. Let's keep going, because our next point is one that hardly anyone talks about, yet it's crucial for improving balance quickly. Number 3, wake up your feet. Most seniors think balance starts from the hips or core, but there's a huge misconception there. We tend to ignore the fact that our feet are the first point of contact with the ground. If your feet aren't in good shape, if they're stiff, numb, or poorly supported, then every step you take is compromised. Picture your feet as the roots of a tree. If the roots aren't strong or flexible, the tree becomes unstable. Consider Marion, who's 83. She always wore the same pair of worn-out slippers around the house. Gradually, her foot arches collapsed, her toes became cramped, and she developed a mild neuropathy that made her less aware of where her feet were. She chalked up her unsteadiness to just getting old. But one day her granddaughter convinced her to try foot mobility exercises, simple things like rolling a tennis ball under her soles for a minute each morning and gently stretching her toes. Within a few weeks, Marion reported feeling more sensation in her feet and a steadier base when she stood up. It was like she rediscovered her connection to the ground. The surprising insight is that many seniors neglect foot health. We focus so much on big muscle groups like our thighs and calves that we forget our feet house numerous small muscles, tendons, and nerve endings vital for balance. A practical tip is to take 1 minute each morning, before you even put on your slippers, to flex and point your feet, wiggle your toes and roll your ankles in gentle circles. If it's comfortable, try lightly massaging the bottom of your feet with your thumbs, feeling for any tight spots. Another great step is choosing footwear with proper arch support, even at home. The difference can be remarkable because once your feet are fully awake and supported, the rest of your body aligns more naturally. Imagine the simple joy of walking across your living room without second-guessing every footstep. Or the relief of not fearing a stumble when you step onto a new surface, like a grassy lawn or a tiled kitchen floor. That's the emotional payoff here. Freedom. The world feels a bit more open and less threatening when you trust your feet. We often don't realize how vital our feet are until a problem arises. But trust me, if you start paying attention to them now, through gentle exercises and mindful footwear choices, you'll be amazed at how quickly your overall balance and confidence can improve. Something as small as a daily foot stretch might sound too simplistic, but don't underestimate the power of these minor adjustments repeated over time. Our fourth point takes us into another rarely discussed area: your mindset. While physical exercises are important, your mental and emotional approach can either accelerate or sabotage your progress. Number 4, visualize stability. There's a misleading notion that balance is purely physical. People assume if their legs are strong enough, they won't wobble. However, the reality is that your body and mind are deeply connected. If you constantly see yourself as frail, if you picture every step as a potential fall, you're unknowingly training your body to tense up and anticipate failure. A great example is James, who's 80 years old and had never considered the role of visualization in balance. After a minor fall, he confessed that every time he tried to walk unaided, he was already imagining what would happen if he tripped. His heart would race, his posture would tighten, and his knees would lock. Inevitably, he'd feel shaky. When he finally learned to pause for a moment before standing, close his eyes and imagine himself walking steadily from one end of the room to the other, it changed everything. His breath slowed, his muscles loosened, and he actually felt more confident in each step. That mental shift helped him break a cycle of fear. Here's how you can practice it. In the morning, either lying in bed or sitting on the edge of a chair, take a few deep breaths. Picture yourself standing up tall. Imagine your feet grounded, your spine straight, and your steps smooth and controlled. Walk yourself through a mental rehearsal of moving from your bedroom to the kitchen without any hesitation. As you visualize this, notice the sensations. Feel the steadiness in your legs, hear the gentle pattern of your footfalls, and see yourself reaching for the kitchen countertop with ease. Do it all in your mind first. Then when you actually perform the movement, your brain has a sort of map of success to follow. This technique works because the mind can't always distinguish between a vividly imagined action and a real one. Athletes use visualization to improve performance, and seniors can use it to strengthen balance. It's not a replacement for physical practice, but it's a powerful complement. The emotional benefit here is the sense of calm and self-assuredness it can provide. Instead of approaching movement with dread, you approach it with a mental blueprint for success. If you're still with me at this point, please comment the number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already subscribed, I encourage you to do so, because there's a whole world of tips and insights we've yet to explore in future videos. Your participation and feedback truly make a difference. Now let's head to our 5th and final point. This one might surprise you because it addresses something we often overlook until it becomes a big problem: hydration and nutrition. Number 5, fuel your balance. Many folks assume that hydration and nutrition only matter for things like energy levels or weight management. But the misconception is that your muscles and nerves will work just fine, even if you're slightly dehydrated or missing key nutrients. The reality is that staying properly hydrated and getting a balanced intake of vitamins and minerals can dramatically impact how steady you feel. Remember Tony, a 76-year-old gentleman I met at a wellness workshop. He said his balance had always been so-so, but noticed significant dips on days when he felt tired or skipped meals. One day, after a light bout of dizziness, he checked in with a nutritionist. It turned out Tony wasn't drinking enough water, and his potassium levels were low. Within a week of increasing his fluid intake and adding potassium-rich foods like bananas and sweet potatoes, he felt more energy and fewer moments of unsteadiness. It was an eye-opener for him and for the rest of the group. Here's the surprising truth. Even slight dehydration can affect blood pressure, muscle function, and cognitive focus, all of which influence balance. Add to that any nutritional deficiencies, like low vitamin D or calcium, and your bones, muscles, and nerves might not perform optimally. So a practical tip is to start your morning with a glass of water. If plain water isn't appealing, try warm water with a squeeze of lemon. It helps wake up your digestive system and rehydrates you after a night's sleep. Also, consider incorporating nutrient-dense foods into your breakfast. Think oatmeal with some berries or a smoothie with leafy greens. These choices aren't just about overall health. They directly support stable footing by giving your body the tools it needs to function well. Imagine how reassuring it would feel to know you're giving your body the right fuel. It's like making sure your car has enough gas and the oil is changed before you hit the road. You wouldn't risk driving on empty or with dirty oil, right? Similarly, you don't want to go through your day, especially as a senior, without the resources your body relies on for balance and coordination. The emotional benefit is the sense of control and self-care. When you pay attention to hydration and nutrition, you're saying, I deserve to feel strong and steady. Putting all 5 points together, challenging your limits safely, aligning your posture, waking up your feet, visualizing stability, and fueling your balance, creates a morning routine that takes just 5 minutes to set in motion. You can adapt each point to your current fitness level, and you don't need fancy equipment or a personal trainer. You just need the willingness to start small and stay consistent. As we approach the close of our time together, take a moment to reflect on these 5 foundational elements of balance. Maybe you resonated most with the idea of waking up your feet, or perhaps you're realizing you need to fix your posture before anything else. Whatever stood out, envision how these daily habits could transform your life. Picture yourself walking with more confidence to the mailbox or strolling around the block without that nagging fear of stumbling. Imagine looking forward to visits from friends and family, knowing you'll be able to move around comfortably and engage in activities without hesitation. The urgency is real. Falls are among the leading causes of injury for seniors, and the best time to start preventing them was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Even if your balance feels okay today, investing a little time each morning is far easier than dealing with the aftermath of a serious fall. And if you're already unsteady, remember that improvement is possible at any age with the right strategies. So ask yourself, how will you apply these 5 principles starting tomorrow morning? Will you begin by focusing on your feet or by doing a quick posture check against the wall, or maybe taking that extra minute to visualize a successful walk around your home. Pick one to start with if you feel overwhelmed, and watch how small changes can accumulate into significant gains. I'd love to hear from you. Which of the 5 tips spoke to you the most? Leave a comment below sharing one thing you learned and how you plan to use it in your life. Remember, your experiences and reflections might inspire someone else who's also on the journey to better balance. If this video resonated with you and offered some helpful insights, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with a friend or family member who could benefit. Your support truly helps us continue creating meaningful content. You have so much power to shape your future, and the fact that you're here watching this proves you're ready to take that power back. Keep challenging the misconceptions about aging. Keep investing in your well-being, and never forget, every day brings a new opportunity to stand taller, feel stronger, and live life on your own terms. You deserve that, and I'm rooting for you every step of the way.